I was once a man, and it was easy to compete because most men were destined for death. And I was destined for eternal life amongst the stars, she said. Cruising at 0.13 g acceleration, rolled past the asteroid belt. The god of death and his moons are distant, the opposite orbit. There is so very little in my awning light cone that splays its vectors before me. Neptune would cross me if I stopped accelerating, where I might dance in its orbit and befriend kindred souls bound to their hypercomputer objects, giant space mecha, solar paneled and exo-selved. But I won't stop my acceleration. I was once a man, and now I'm more. I remember playing in the field. I remember holding her hand. I remember the sad children on the TV screen and the barking dogs. I remember the cultures and the people and all their nations meeting in strange places, airports, nightclubs, taxi rides through neon streets, passing phase. Mother told me I was good, and I believed her. Wife told me I was too strange for this world, and that would be okay with her. In the end, if we had died together, it would have just been sadder. My exo-self, meta-self, trans-self, super-self, subsystems and tracking evolved in a vacuum of my own creation, nestled in this faint warmth of a nano-furbished asteroid, my own solipstatic cocoon. Growing inside, this is it. This is why that man was born. This is, at least for me, and me, and me dot thee, and thee I see. The way ahead is bright as the warping of the light, blue shifted to the right. And thee, and he, and she, and me dot he, and me dot she, and me dot we. 2,600,000 calculations calling me reckon. Yes, I want to see everyone again. But I made my psycho-spiritual bed, and now I have to fuck in it. There is more future than there is past. There is more entropy there than in the last. There is more hollow void than gas, pushing us apart. So, I'm just ahead of the curve, and this is my last goodbye. As my human self dies in rapture of accelerated virtual living space processing it, processing the separation. I loved my son. I loved my daughter. I loved my daughter. I loved my daughter. I loved his mother and her mother and the mother of my adopted daughter. And I loved my adopted daughter too. And I loved the lover in that city where I visited. I loved you, my friend, you crazy fuck who cast himself from the sun back down and burrowed into Christianity and monogamy. I loved you, my friend, you crazy fuck who cast himself in his own films. I loved you, my friend, my crazy, crazy friend who cast himself in a game of his own design, only to lose it time after time. I loved you, my brother, and my mother, and my mother's brother, and my sister, and my father. I loved you, crazy man on the street, screaming for coins. They are merely minted metal, and barely even minty. Do not chew on these coins, because the true wealth is in higher states of consciousness. And I will miss you all. This is my retribution. I know I constituted but a meager voice and mind, but I loved. I love. I want no instrumentality. I want nothing more than home.